All right, Congressman Andy Barr, Republican from the great state of Kentucky, joins me now. Congressman, you voted in favor of the ban. But let me ask you, which do you prefer? TikTok divest control from China, get rid of that control, or have TikTok banned completely? What's your preference?
Well, I prefer this bill, Stuart. And to be clear, this bill is not a ban on TikTok. There's 3 points here. One, TikTok is a national security threat. Second, this legislation isn't a ban. It's a required divestiture of Chinese Communist Party control. And third, it is consistent with the First Amendment. The first point, though, is very, very important for the American people to understand, and especially the 150 million American users of TikTok, that this application is controlled by ByteDance. ByteDance has an internal Chinese Communist Party committee on it, and it is required by Chinese law to report Americans' private data to the government of China. And ByteDance targets Americans with this application. They collect and surveil sensitive data from the American people, and they manipulate public opinion, as was demonstrated just last week when TikTok weaponized the 150 million American users to fight this bill. So this does pose a national security threat. It is not a ban of TikTok. It simply is a regulation of the control of this application. And in order to do business in the United States and protect American sensitive data, an American company must control it.
But if the control was not transferred to an American company, then you would ban TikTok, right?
Well, it places the choice in TikTok's hands. TikTok is not banned from operating in the United States.
But there's a threat there.
TikTok has the choice.
The threat is you ban it. I mean, can you really see, I mean, I don't mean to be extreme here, but can you really see just banning outright a platform which is used by, 150, 180 million Americans, including many, many young people? You'd lose their vote, sir.
Well, look, the reason why we're doing this is to protect Americans' national security. And the reason why this approach is consistent with the Constitution and the First Amendment is that it allows TikTok to continue to operate. It's not a free speech forum when the application can throttle up certain opinions or viewpoints and throttle down others. That is not free speech. That is the manipulation of free speech. We want true free speech. That's why we want American control and ownership of this application so that public opinion is not manipulated and directed by the CCP.
That's fair enough. Here's an example for you. Senator Eric Schmidt, he grilled the CEO of TikTok on how Chinese migrants are using the platform to learn how to cross the border with step-by-step instructions. What do you make of that?
Well, this is a great example of how the CCP can create problems, national security challenges for the United States. And think about the scenario where if TikTok is controlled by the CCP and, God forbid, there was a cross-strait invasion of Taiwan, and our response was sanctions, our government's response was with pulling back on the trade status, the permanent normal trade status for China. If the government was attempting to do that and the CCP weaponized the American people against actions by our government to counter Chinese aggression, that compromises national security. So it's about Americans' privacy, their data privacy, but it's also about national security. It's about sowing discontent in the United States. And yes, exploiting the southern border in this way is another example of how TikTok threatens our national security in the way it's currently configured.
Congressman Andy Barr, Republican, Kentucky, thank you very much for joining us, sir. I know we'll see a lot of you again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Still ahead.